It is 10 o'clock at night and I am starting sourdough. Not too great, huh? But the problem is that I have is, okay, I don't want this, all this bubbly goodness. See how that is? Ready? I don't want it to go to waste. I really gotta clean this jar that it's in. Anyways, if you look, in case anybody doesn't know, that is bubbly starter that's ready. It is doubled in size, it's bubbly, it's gonna float, and it's ready to be baked with. So I don't have a choice. I don't want it to go to waste. So I'm baking. I won't bake it tonight, but I will mix it up. I'll do my stretch and folds, and I will stick it in the fridge to bulk ferment, and I will bake it in the morning. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, well, I got my water, I heated it up. I usually use filtered water just so it won't mess with my starter. I add a teeny little bit of milk in there. Not much. I don't know why I do that, I just do. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I have a method that my sister taught me that is super smart. I wish I could take credit for it, but I cannot. So I have my scale, and I have this bowl on the scale, and I just zero it out. So that way, as I put the measurements in, I keep zeroing it out, so I don't have to use and measure whatever. I just do it all in here. It's a really great method. It's genius. So anyways, I'm going to be putting in 650 grams of water. So I'm going to do that. See if I estimated it right. 658. Almost exact. I have like drops in there. Okay, that's good enough. It's a little bit over, but I guess I could take a tad bit out. Okay, 650. Perfect. And then what I do is I usually temp this water to be about 90-ish, 90 or less. Right now, I warmed up the water too much and it's at 100. So I'm going to have to wait for it to cool down a bit before I put my starter in there, because I don't want it too hot and to kill my starter. I'm just gonna give it a few seconds here and I'll come back. It doesn't take very long to cool off. So we're going to do that. But I think actually what I'm gonna do this time though is, ooh, I got a hole for my popcorn in there. I'm gonna try a new recipe that I've never done before that I've been really wanting to do. It's like a croissant style sourdough where you actually shred butter into the batter. And then, so I'm gonna do a long video with this. And I'm going to shred it in there, the butter, when it's cold, fold it into the bread and then bake it. So it'll be like croissant-like. The video I saw would look delicious. So I'm gonna try it and then I'll cut into it and show you guys, see what you guys think. Anyways, that's what we're gonna do. So I'll be back. Okay. So while I'm waiting for this, it's almost ready. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds. I just kind of want to talk about, from my experience of learning to make sourdough, the mistakes I made. And so one of the biggest things is I tried to bake with my starter being too like immature. It wasn't ready. It took me a while to get my starter ready. It was a long process. And part of the mistake I was making was that I wasn't feeding it twice a day. I was just doing it once a day. And my starter would rise, and by the time I would go to bake, it already fall. It usually rise 4 hours after you feed it. And I was coming back like 8 hours thinking I'm gonna bake with it, and it had already fallen. I'm like, oh no, my starter's not ready, because I didn't see it double in size. So check it 4 hours after you feed it, and it takes a couple weeks to establish it. I also fed it with, here and there, maybe once a week, some wheat flour when I did it, instead of, so kind of built up the starter. And then also just making sure when you bake with a starter that's bubbly. It should float. If it doesn't float in water, it's not ready. So, and you want to use filtered water. I try to use water, but must be chlorine or something, and it deactivated my starter. So that's the biggest thing, making sure your starter is ready. The next thing is temp your fluids, measure everything. Get yourself a scale, get yourself a thermometer. This one I broke, it's kind of hanging, but it still works. And temp it, and have your water between 80 and 90. You get it too hot, it will kill it. If you get it too cold, it's gonna slow it down. So you kind of got to have this perfect amount. And I always thought like, oh, I'll temp it and do like warm according to my skin. Sometimes like your wrist, it's inaccurate, it doesn't work. So anyways, this is at about 95, so it's a little bit warm still. I'm gonna give it just a second, and then I'm going to put my starter in there. Okay, my scale, I'm going to zero it out now. So it's at 0 with my 650 grams of water. Like I said, I use mostly all water. I do put a hint of milk. Just, I don't know. I just do it. It's not necessary. Okay, and then I'm going to put 350 grams of my active starter. And if you do a little bit more, it's fine. I do about 350 grams. It's about 360. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to show you. This is bubbly and it is floating in the water. If you can see that. Sorry, I don't know if I have the right angle. That's not, okay, sorry, there's a good angle. If you can see, it's floating and it's bubbly, and that means it is ready. It's good, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to stir that in. Get that, and then what I always do is that starter likes to feed on sugar. So I also add my maple syrup next. So I do, I'm trying to think here, I think it's 60. Sometimes I get confused between what I put in for maple syrup and what I put in for oil. I believe I put in 60 and 40. So let me check my recipe real quick, because my sister wrote down a recipe for me. She is super sweet, sorry. You're gonna get, and I printed it off and blew it up. This is her sourdough recipe that she wrote down for me. So I always get it confused. Oh, 50 grams of maple syrup and 40 of oil. Okay, so this I'm going to zero out again. Why did it get to kilograms? Don't want that, we want grams. Might change your unit on you. You gotta be careful. Okay. For some reason I went to kilograms and I don't want kilograms. That's weird. I don't know why I did that, but anyways, I zeroed it out. Okay, so I'm going to put 50 with maple syrup. I'll give my starter something to eat on. Okay, 50 maple syrup. Stir that in. Okay, and then I'm going to put 40 of, I like to use avocado oil. So I use avocado oil. So I'm gonna clear this out. Why is it doing that? I just want to zero it. There. Okay, so I'm gonna pour it till I see 40. A scale is necessary. I don't know how you, I mean, if you want your sourdough to turn out, you gotta have a scale. Okay, and if I can make sourdough, anyone can, trust me. Okay, so I'm gonna zero that out. Now, okay, so I like to, I do 1,000 grams of flour, but I like to put my salt in. I do 20 grams of salt, but I like to put it in last because salt can actually kill your starter. So I kind of like to put in half my flour, mix it up, and then I'll add the salt and then do the other half, because I don't want to do anything to inactivate my starter. Okay, I have a measuring cup in my flour bag. I have it in this drawer. So I'm going to, I zeroed it out already, so I'm going to put till it's 500 grams. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have 500. I'm gonna mix that up. Mix it up pretty good. And then I'm going to zero it out, put the 20 grams, which those smaller amounts, I don't know, might be a little tricky with the scale, but I get it not close enough. So I'm going to, weird, must have moved it, because depending on where I put it. So something, oh, it's the spoon that's in there, duh. Okay, so I am going to, well, now this is dirty. I can set it over here in my bowl that had a little bit of fluid. I'm going to zero that out. No, I want to zero, not kilogram. Grab my salt here. I just use regular table salt. So I'm going to put it here until it's 20 grams. There we go, that's it. And then I'm going to add the other 500 of flour. So, and well, it's actually gonna be 520 because 20 is on there now. Okay, and sometimes towards the end, just to be sure everything's good, I might not quite add the full amount of flour. Like right now it's at 510. I might just give it a second to see how it looks, because I don't want to I can always add more flour, but once you get too much, there's no going back. So Oh, I'm making a mess. I'm kind of a messy cook. I do that. Okay, we are about done. Then we're gonna let it rest for about an hour. You can stick it in the oven with the light on if your house is cold, but if your house is warm, you know, 70, 75, you can just leave it on the counter for an hour and let it rest. And then, I guess I don't need it on the scale no more, it's poor scale. So you can let it rest for an hour. Then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do a series of 4 stretch and folds. Then I'm going to shape my dough and I'm going to stick it in the fridge. Yep, it's really sticky, so it does need that last little bit of flour, which I took it off the thing, so I kind of had to eyeball that, the last 10 grams, but probably close enough. Okay, it's coming away from the side, so that's good. It looks wet, it's sticky, but not too sticky. So I'm going to cover this with some saran wrap, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven, I think, just so I can hurry this process because I started this so late at night. So I might only let it rest for 30 minutes. I might do a quicker method. It'll be fine. And I can always leave it in the fridge longer if I need to, if it's not ready. Okay, so I'll let you see it. See how it looks? It looks sticky. It's not quite like normal bread. It has a different consistency. So there you have it. I'm gonna cover it, get this in just resting on the counter here. And then I am going to do stretch and folds, and I'll come back and then we're gonna stick it in the fridge overnight, and then we'll pull it out, we'll bake it tomorrow. And I think I may add in the grated butter after my last stretch and fold, and cold butter I'll probably grate and see how that goes. Never done it before, so I'm excited to try that. Okay, I'm back. I do apologize. Last night I did not record my series of stretch and folds. It got busy and I, got really late and my phone was charging, so I didn't. But all I did was I let it sit in the oven with the light on for an hour because my house wasn't that warm. It was like 70 and I wanted to kind of hurry it along. It was late. So I turned the light on to make it warmer, and I left it in there for an hour. I did some stretch and folds where I just pulled the dough from the outside in and pushed in and just went around the whole edge. I did that, and then 30 minutes later I did another one, 30 minutes later, 30 minutes later, so a total of 4. Once that was done, then I flattened it, kind of pressed it down and rolled it up into like a shape of a loaf, and then I just kind of rolled it and pulled in and just kind of, adjusted it to be a round circle. Then I put it into these bowls, and I always cover it with saran wrap because you don't want it to dry out. So I left it in the fridge overnight. It's been about 8 hours. You could leave it longer. I just do at least 8 hours overnight. So then what I'm gonna do is I have these nice inserts that I put them on, and I'm gonna score them. And I like to put a little bit of flour for decor. I have this little flour thing. So I have my my 2 Dutch ovens. I have them in the oven right now. Oh my goodness, my sweater's inside out. Nice. It was dark in my room. So I had my oven preheating to 400, and I had them in there, and so I am letting them warm up with the oven. It just told me it's 400, so it's ready for us to put it in. So then I'm going to take and hopefully these, sometimes I kind of will pull the edge a little bit. Hopefully these will fall out nicely. Oh, I also did shred up some butter, and I put it into the loaf. I folded it in on my last stretch and fold, and so we'll see how that goes. I've never done that. So I took a cold butter stick, grated it, and then I folded it into the loaf. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna, hopefully this come out. If they do not, I'm gonna have to help them out. They don't always fall out. It wants to, it's wanting to, but I'm gonna have to give it a little bit of help here, which is not a big deal. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I'm gonna turn it over this way. Sometimes when I go to dump it out, like I said, I am not a pro. It does not come out how I want, and I have to kind of, shape it again. And so that's okay. If you gotta do that, I do that. it's not a big deal. So there, kind of shaped it back into a round if you kind of misconstrued a little bit. And then I like to score it. I like to have like one big scoring down the side here, and it's way easier to score a loaf when it's cold. So I'll do one side over here, and then I like to do like maybe a little cutesy design over here. I'm not very good at designs yet. Like I said, I haven't been doing this very long. I'm a noob. So I'll do like a little cutesy scoring here, try to make a little pretty design. And that's it. I don't know if you can see it. So I did one long scoring down the side, and then I did kind of some little slashes over there. So I'm going to do that to both loaves, both the same, because I don't have a lot of skills and I really haven't taken the time to. I'm gonna powder it with some flour. Just make it, it'll make it look nice. Like I said, I really haven't taken the time to study this. And now this one, I actually put saran wrap over it and under it because so it doesn't stick to this basket. So this one's gonna be way easier to get out. I probably should have done that with the other loaf. Just done saran wrap. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll take this and they'll just tip it on over onto it. So I'm gonna try that here. Let's see how it goes. So this one, I'm tipping over onto it. And this one I kind of pulled it out. So we'll see which one turns out better, if I can remember which Dutch oven. So I'm going to also score this one. Looks like I have a chunk of butter right there. See how that works out. Okay, so I'm gonna score this one. Little slash down the side. And then I'm gonna do those little cutesy lines here. And we will see how this turns out. My sister is way better at this than I am. Her loaves always look gorgeous. I'm a noob, I'm just learning. So, oops, can't really see my loaf. There it is. So I'm going to powder it. And then we're going to throw it into the Dutch oven and bake it at 400 with the lid on for about 30-35 minutes. Because there's 2 loaves in there, it takes a little longer. So I'll probably leave the lid on 35 minutes and then I'll take it off and leave it for another 30 minutes. And then I will pull them out and let you see. And then once I am able to cut into it, I'll let you see as well. See what you think. So I'm gonna throw these in real quick, but I guess I can record it. If I move this back. Okay. This is kind of tricky a little bit. I've burned my hand many a times, trying to do this. One, because I don't have probably enough pot holders like I should. Okay, so I got these 2 Dutch ovens in here. I'm gonna bring them here, take the lids off. Usually I just set the lids here real quick. And then I'll grab these. That's why these are so nice. They're so nice with pulling them out and putting them in. Okay, put that there. And then I'll put this one over here on the right-hand side. So I'll kind of know which one is which. And I'll get my lids on. And my lid on. Make sure it's on good. Because sometimes I really don't like these Dutch ovens that great. Oh no, I think they got stuck together a little bit. See what I mean? And this is too long. You kind of want to do this. There we go. I got them turned. Okay, so you want to make sure your lids are on good and put them in. Okay, before I lose all the heat that I've been preheating. Okay, put them up. So now they'll be there for about 30 minutes. I actually like my other Dutch oven better. Those ones, I don't seem to be, they're okay, but they're a little bit cheaper. So, guess you get what you pay for. Okay, so we're gonna be at 400 for 35 minutes. Come back, take the lid off for like another 30 minutes, and then we'll pull them out and see how they turn out. Bye. I gotta go do my chores. While it's baking, I gotta do my chores. Okay, it's time. Time to see. Time to get these out. Been in there for about 1 hour and 5 minutes, but I do a little extra time because they are 2 loaves in here. Okay. Ooh, those are hot. I was hoping that I could just touch those tabs and pull this out, but it is way too hot. So there's one. I'm gonna get it on my drying rack. And then here's the second loaf. Okay. I'll show you them look pretty good. Got a little bit of a rise on there. I think they both turned out pretty good. So I'll cut into them and we'll see. That'll be the true test. So once we get them cut into. Okay. Okay, this has been cooling here for about 3 hours. And I usually try to let it cool for about 4, but I'm impatient. So I'm going to cut into one of these because I just want to see how it turned out. I'm going to cut a couple pieces off. Oh, it's got a good crust on it, which that's good because I wanted it to, ooh, pretty good. Looks pretty good so far. I like the butt or the end. I don't know what people call it. I call it butt. It's good. It's still a little warm. I still could stand it cool for a bit more. But well, I'm not really sure adding that butter into it did anything. It looks the same as all my sourdough does. Soft, crispy, and delicious. Like I said, it probably could stand to cool a little longer, but I don't know. I think it's the same. I don't know what that butter did, honestly. Maybe somewhere on the other loaf or somewhere in there where there's a pocket. Anyways, it's delicious. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I can try to help. I'm not an expert, but I don't know. It turned out pretty dang good.